The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Alright, Alex. Those are some sweet emotes you got there. Alright. So we gotta get out of here. Obviously the door is probably the way to do that. So let's look at the hydrogen bomb, though. Well, that's a rocket and a tank. I'd better not think too much about what I'm seeing down here. I wonder... It sort of resembles the thing from that cinematic at the very start of the game. I don't think it's quite enough to say, yeah, it's that. But it's similar, I recall. There was like a rocket involved in the beginning, right? And I've kind of forgotten mostly, and it hasn't really come up. But I wonder what that cinematic was, because someone died in it. I'm curious who and why, and if it is actually relevant to this. What if it was a flash forward? I don't know. There's so much garbage here. I can't believe this place is even still inhabitable. I mean, it's not really still inhabitable, I'd say. Is that an airplane? How'd something like that wind up in the school's garbage pits? It's not your average school. Maybe it's like that, isn't there like an anime or something about a school with, where they have like an airplane flying club? Or something. This is a desk. It's probably the one that fell down here with me. Okay, well, let's talk to Kyoko. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room? Okay, yeah, this is probably what we need. That's actually what I was expecting her to throw down here, as opposed to herself.
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? I think I know who the person was in the rocket, but I'm not sure if it's spoilery. So it's... Okay, well... When in doubt, err on the side of not revealing spoilers, I'd say. Alright, let's get out of here. Hey, Kyoko, we can use that key of yours to open this door, right? Hopefully.
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took out the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then... we're in. Yes, it opened.
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pits. Finally. We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief, because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6, Ultimate Pain, Ultimate Suffering, Ultimate Despair, Ultimate Execution, Ultimate Death. Oh, we're already on Deadly Life. That's new. Like I said, I mean, depending on if this is structured from Deadly Life to the beginning, who knows, we might even just do the whole thing. I don't know. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I'll be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it? So, Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So, how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous? I think if you're a detective, you almost might want to not be famous. And make it easier to do the job.
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. See? See? Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Oh, wow. Huh, but how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. It is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. Almost reminds me of L from Death Note, kinda. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. So, by implication, that kind of means, like, if she's willing to tell us this, that must mean she kind of really trusts us, you know, to entrust us with this secret of her detective tradition. Pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet... Yeah, I did sacrifice herself, true. I'll be honest, in the moment I did kinda assume and hope she had some sort of ace up her sleeve that she was gonna pull out at the last second to make me not die and get executed. And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you'd go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? And there's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Oh, really? Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about. Is it like a bad relationship or just like a cold one?
However...
There's something I wanted to say to him, though. Oh, come on, semantics! What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Because it's a bad relationship. Huh. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. I could see it. I mean, if intelligence is a genetically inheritable trait, then you certainly got it. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. Ooh, that That's an interesting twist. The daughter of holding the tradition that her father did not. That he shunned. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died. He simply ran away. Went to my grandfather and they had a huge argument. And young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Ooh, harsh. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. Fair? I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that. She might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know? He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing. One thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. When? I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
The rest of my family looked at me. They saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. Ooh. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow's been following me my entire life. Think of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family? You just cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are you connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul? I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Oop. We're gonna need the key up here. Hopefully this opens. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back. We're so back, guys.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what this is. I'm fairly certain that's where we will come out. I unlocked it early, so it should open without much trouble. Unless Monokuma did something nefarious. Well, here goes nothing. This is gonna be tough to explain to everyone else. As far as everyone else is concerned, I'm a murderer, too. Granted, I don't mean Jill's a murderer, so it wouldn't be unprecedented to reintegrate with the society. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... There we go. Looks like we're back. I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back at Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. So now what? So now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out... And I'm worried about you, too. You helped me, so they might... Well, I mean, though, there isn't an explicit rule against surviving execution or saving someone from the trash pits, right? And Monokuma is evil, but he's, like, lawful evil, typically, so...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. I mean, like, yeah, like I said, there's not a rule against avoiding execution. Wait, that's...
However...
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. Yeah, it's not like we can run anyway. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. I feel like this game is turning me into such a rules lawyer. Yeah, there's a rule about breaking locks. We have the key, so... So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. It's some confidence. I'm not sure I quite share that confidence, but... I'm game. Oh, I almost forgot my lights. Sheesh. There we go. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
Mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment when the mastermind let their guard down. Really? There was? When might that have been? I don't know, could it have been when he said that I did kill her when I didn't?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. Who died? I mean, who hasn't died at this point? That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little, no, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Alright, sure thing. This is chapter 6. Oh, the rest of the chapter, who died in chapter 5? Me. Technically. Well, not no, technically I didn't, but... De facto? De jure? Sorry, I thought I heard someone knocking on my door. Alright, are we going? Where are we going? Headmaster's office? Is that where Monokuma would be located? He is the headmaster of the school, is he not? Kinda? Well, if not de jure, at least de facto.
Shall we go?
I need to get to the gym, to Monokuma. Right, the gym! He's cool like that.
Well.
Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much. But Makoto's supposed to be super dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do? If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again, and this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko, again, you left me out to dry.
Right.
Do whatever you feel you have to. Gyoko! What?
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? Huh? I lose?
Hey!
Yo, explain yourself! What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right,
Yet in response to that unexpected developments,
indeed,
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
however,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now. But with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there's only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type?
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
what the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. I mean, yeah, imagine the storyline you could get out of this. Makoto, he escaped execution, and now he's back for revenge. Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They'd assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope. Huh?
Hey,
Of course you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Makuro's trial over again. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial. Yeah, retrial! We're going out, we're appealing it.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair.
Oh, wow. This isn't the last chapter of the game, is it?
Hey,
Wow, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial. One last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting!
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed! Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. Now what you suggested might be possible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely
Let's have one
contain
finally
myself.
grisly showdown. You agreed? Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So for the final phases, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right, every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that. Pawing? I don't even know what that's... What's the pun there?
I can barely contain myself!
Then that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you. Koalas are marsupials.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, well, I'll face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure, so what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. So that means it was a student, one of the 16. Interesting. Huh. Mukuro's trial is no exception? Then it's part of the regulations. Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro... It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Oh, polar. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd you go quiet all of a sudden? I'm done talking! I got nothing left to say to you! So get lost, would ya? Why so mad?
Whew.
He seems emotionally unstable. Okay, that'll be a clue. Got it. The killer is a woman. I'm joking. Please don't crucify me.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punch overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Hanakoto, let's go. Okay. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. Okay, well then, that was interesting. So we need to uncover all of the mysteries. But what qualifies as a mystery, specifically? I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed? I saved my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debts. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
however,
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. Still, glad it worked out. Wait, so you weren't certain this would work? I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. That's twice now you're willing to just let me die, potentially. Or at least risk it happening. But honestly, why would the Mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they? Makoto, it's a TV show. Think about the ratings. Ain't that right, Twitch?
so
I had no choice but to accept. Huh?
because
It's all because of that one moment that the Mastermind let their guard down, like I said. So when was it that the Mastermind let their guard down?
so
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the Mastermind said? They said they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
listen,
And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often. So it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However,
And yet, somehow the Mastermind was able to do it.
in other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. Is it because no self-respecting network would willingly broadcast this? Did they get their pilots, like, rejected by all of the networks and they're like, you know what, screw you guys. I'm just hijacking the airwaves. I'm just going to broadcast it myself. A reason?
so
To show the world something, no matter the cost. It's killing each other. They want to show the world?
it would seem
Mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. Wait a minute, hold on. Is this a Dark Knight situation? Is Monokuma actually the Joker? It's not about, the actual outcome of what happens. It's about showing the tragedy of humanity along the way. It's about showing that when you put people in a couple of boats with bombs strapped to them and the trigger for the other boats, that with the words that you'll both blow up if you don't blow the other one up, that boom, the fireworks happen. Is that what's going on here? And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If the stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
in other words,
So the Mastermind's ultimate goal is to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. I think it was clearly just a misunderstood artistic genius. Could be. I mean, let's be honest, if this was on TV, I'd watch it. Granted, I would watch it probably under the assumption that surely all the deaths are fake, right? But it would be entertaining. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey,
Outside world has a name for the students of Hope speak, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
that's right.
And for those of us who represent hope, to kill each other and sink into despair. The mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal, is the ultimate despair. It's like reality TV, but slightly more evil. Agreed. Though I will say, in terms of a reality TV show format, it'd be very entertaining. I'm not sure it would work super well, because you do have the risk that, in theory, after the first murder, like, they could just get it wrong, and then they just all get executed. And then your show's over. Which doesn't seem great. But, I mean, that sort of Damocles, though, gives you so much extra tension. Right? So I wouldn't really want to take it away. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet, that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
In other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. Alright, because if it... Just like in like reality TV, if it comes out that, oh, it's all rigged, then now the investment goes off a cliff. Yep. If the mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. Although, by the way, so obviously, again, if this was in real life, obviously all of the deaths would be fake. How certain are we that that's not the case here? Because I'm thinking, right? He's super confident we're not going to pin who the actual killer was. And it would seem basically everyone has an airtight alibi that's currently living. Right? And even if they didn't, even just randomly guessing, especially since we know I didn't do it, and Kyoko knows she didn't do it, right? So if we're spearheading this investigation and operation, we'd have what, like a 1 in 4 chance? 25% odds, even just guessing randomly. That's not the sort of odds that you have supreme confidence over. It's worth noting, in the school rules, it always says punished, right? Typically. Like, we refer to them colloquially as executions. Officially, it's being punished. Could that be the final loophole? I don't know. And then it's been alluding to that too, right? With the photos we've been finding at the various floors. So maybe. So instead they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, and made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also is not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the mastermind had to accept your suggestion?
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they had to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words,
It would only do the mastermind harm to have it show that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
And then, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet. But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least, I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took it as a small sign of relief. Or sign. Huh? Small sign of relief? Sigh of relief? I don't know. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I'd showed my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However,
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time,
correct.
or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. Yeah, they're, in for a bit of a surprise, aren't they? True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do is work together with everyone to destroy the mastermind. And although the person we need to find is a student. If they're someone who's currently alive, then it isn't necessarily going to be all kumbaya and whatnot. She's not be in bed soon. Maybe. Though, I mean, technically the rule is just that you can't sleep outside of your dorm. It's not that you have to be in bed by a certain time. Work together with everyone.
however,
Is that really possible? Huh?
anyway,
Anyway, right now we have to go find the others.
shall we go?
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Alright. Let's, you sure we want to go?
Anyway,
Anyway, right now I have to go find the others. We're in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Yes, let's.